Well, 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 what do we have here? Looks like old Timmy Two Shoes is not running for governor next year. Coincidentally, right after all this fraud starts blowing up in his face. Talk about timing. Let's see what they have to say about it.
Minnesota. Tim Walz will not seek re-election as governor, and what a fall from grace this has been for him.
Yep.
You might recall in the spring of 2023, he pushed through several progressive ideas to the state legislature that caught the attention of Barack Obama, who went to Twitter to give his endorsement for the program.
I'm sure you did.
Which eventually caught the attention of people like Kamala Harris, who chose him to be her running mate as the vice president. Introduced in Chicago.
Imagine how bad that would be.
In August of last year, a debate that was an absolute disaster with J.D. Vance at one point called himself a knucklehead. But after reportedly billions of dollars have been stolen from taxpayers, by way of the state of Minnesota, Tim Walz says he will not seek a third term.
Good.
What a remarkable 2 years in the national spotlight has been for him, Dana.
And Walz hit Trump in his announcement.
Governor Tim Walz resigning due to extensive fraud, thanks to Nick Shirley. Jasmine Crockett out of a job due to redistricting. Good. Great. Love to see it. Stop talking about Somali criminals in Minnesota. Start talking about the white men that are criminals. Oh, I could definitely see him saying something like that. And this guy's out, dude.
So, this is what happens when your own federal government wages war against you. This is what happens.
Or tells the
when they
truth.
target communities for their own benefit.
Tells the
This is
truth.
what happens when they scapegoat.
Tells the
This
truth.
is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy. When you hear the Vice President of the United States talk about now white people won't have to apologize for being white. That's never happened once in my whole damn life.
Oh, another lie. Straight out of his mouth. Gee, it's almost like that's been happening for probably at least the past 8 years on a massive scale. Huh, it's funny how you just lie through your teeth. Because you're a liar. That's what you're good at. Lying. Deceiving. Which is why you let the fraud go on for so long.
And I think everybody in this room knows what they're doing. So we're here today to say enough of this. We're here today to stand that Minnesota will protect their neighbors.
Yeah.
So,
what an idiot. Here we go. Minnesota has come first always, except for when you gave the taxpayers dollars to the illegal Somali daycare operations and allowed them to continue and destroy your state from the inside out, basically. So, yeah, great job there. Proud of the work we've done to make Minnesota the best place to live and raise kids. Yeah, I don't know about that one, because it doesn't seem like there was any kids in the daycares, bud. There weren't any kids there. The windows are blacked out. Never seen that in my entire life. Decided to step out of the race and let others worry about the election while I focus on the work. What work is that? And then this is the official letter. So, yeah, basically for the last several years, an organized group of criminals have sought to take advantage of our state's generosity. And even as we make progress in the fight against the fraudsters, we now see an organized group of political actors seeking to take advantage of the crisis. See, I thought when he said criminals, he was going to say something about Republicans, but no, those people are actually criminals, the Somalis. So, and they are taking big advantage of the state. It's not really generosity because you're allowing it to go on. It's more corruption and fraud at the behest of your entire state and country as well. It's very disgusting and disingenuous of you to try to frame this as something that it's not, but I wouldn't expect anything else from you. So he says, I won't mince words here. Trump and his allies in Washington, St. Paul, and online want to make our state a colder, meaner place. Well, no, we just want this truth to be exposed. That's really all we want, just the truth. That you're allowing the Somalis to pirate and take over your state from the inside out, and you're allowing it. They want to poison our people against each other by attacking our neighbors, and ultimately they want to take away much of what makes Minnesota, the best place in America to raise a family. What an absolute joke that is. They've already begun by taking our tax dollars that were meant to help families afford childcare, aka run illegal daycares where there were no children at all, and they have no intention of stopping there. See, they always try to appeal to emotions and emotionally manipulate and sway words and change things around to appeal to emotions. That's what it always is, but we know better. We're not going to let that happen. And then he says, make no mistake, we should be concerned about fraud in our state government. We cannot effectively deliver programs and services if we can't earn the public's trust. Yeah, well, I would say you have lost that completely. That's out the door, gone, disappeared because of what you've allowed to happen. That's why over the past few years, we've made systemic changes to the way we do business. We've gone to the legislature time and time again to get more tools to combat fraud. We've fired people who weren't doing their jobs. We've seen people go to jail for stealing from our state, except for the entire Somali community, apparently, because they were all seeming to live pretty high on the hog, weren't they? We've cut off whole streams of funding in partnership with the federal government, where we saw widespread criminal activity. We put new locks on the doors of our remaining programs, and we've hired a new head of program integrity to make sure these locks can't be broken. Well, bud, the locks don't need to be broken when the criminals are inside the safe already. Doesn't even matter. You locked them inside the safe with all the money and allowed them to screw your people over. That's what you did. Then next he says, all across the state, Minnesotans are hard at work on this problem. Advocates, administrators, investigators are on the front lines defending the integrity of our state's programs, and I want to thank them for the efforts. There's more to do. A single taxpayer dollar wasted on fraud is a dollar too much to tolerate, and while there's a role to play for everyone, from the legislature to prosecutors to insurance companies to local and county government, the buck stops with me. My administration is taking fast, decisive action to solve this crisis, and we will win the fight against the fraudsters. Bud, you've been losing for years upon years upon years. What are you talking about win? The only win is that you're stepping down and you're going to let other people actually do it. Hopefully. What a joke this guy is. Then he says, but the political gamesmanship, we're seeing from Republicans, is only making that fight harder to win. Well, no, it's actually making it easier because we've called out the fraud that you've allowed to go on for years. So, yeah, it makes it a lot easier, I'd say. People actually can see what's going on, and obviously they don't like it. Their tax dollars are being used to prolong this fraud. So, it's ridiculous. We've got Republicans here in the legislature playing hide and seek with whistleblowers. We've got conspiracy theorists, right-wing YouTubers breaking into daycare. Breaking in. See, this is what they do. They lie. They lie, and appeal to emotion. Breaking in. They're breaking into daycare. He didn't break into a single daycare, buddy. He knocked on the doors, all of them. Every single one. And there was no kids there. And then they brought the kids in after they were called out and like, oh, there's no, and then boom, oh yeah, they call their buddies to bring their kids in. Like, it's ridiculous. We all can see it. We know what's happening. Right-wing YouTubers breaking into daycare centers and demanding access to our children. More of the same, dude. Demanding access to her. They try to paint it in this picture that it's not. They're just trying to expose fraud that's going on in the daycare systems that you've allowed to happen. Ridiculous. This guy's an absolute skunk of a human being. Then he says we've got the president of the U.S. Demonizing our Somali neighbors and wrongly confiscating childcare funding that Minnesotans rely on. Why do they rely on it? Shouldn't their parents be the one paying for it? Like my entire life when I was in daycare, that's what would happen. My parents would pay for it. And then boom, we move on with our lives. But no, you need funding so that you can buy Somali votes, which is exactly what this means in real people language of English. That's what this sentence means right here. We've got the president of the U.S. demonizing our Somali neighbors, wrongly confiscating childcare funding that Minnesotans rely on. Yeah, that's exactly what it means. Stealing the money to give to the Somalis to buy their vote. Boom, right there. I just cut that sentence down, didn't I? It's disgusting and it's dangerous. Republicans are playing politics with the future of our state, and it is shameful. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We welcome ideas from anyone in any party who wants to help us continue to stay ahead of the criminals. Except, like you just said back up here, when the Republicans do it. You don't like that, do you? Because that's exactly what we're trying to do. Trying to shed light on the criminals, stop them from continuing and endorsing and uplifting their criminal behavior, and hold them accountable. That's all we want. But you don't want that. See, they always do this, swaying around the truth. Oh, gonna move the flag, or the flag post, gonna move it around, goalpost. Oh, we're gonna dodge, dip, duck, dodge here. It's like we're in the dodgeball movie. That's all this is. And the ball is the truth. That's why you don't want the truth to come out from anyone in any party. What a joke. He literally just said up here, no, he's trying to demonize Republicans and all this stuff. Like, nah, you don't want the truth. You don't want to stay ahead of the criminals. You want to buy their votes. That's all you want. We welcome the involvement of the federal government. I'm grateful to the career professionals at the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI who are helping us win this fight. But I cannot abide the actions of the political leadership in Washington. These opportunists who are willing to hurt our people to score a few cheap points. They and their allies have no intention of helping us solve the problem and every intention of profiting off of it. Which brings me to this. 2026 is an election year, and election years have a way of ramping up the politics at a time when we simply can't afford more politics. Oh, why can't we do that? Because you're caught in a lie? Is that why? Yeah, I think so. In September, I announced that I would run for a historic third term as Minnesota's governor, and I have every confidence that if I gave it my all, I would succeed in that effort. Yeah, because you have bought-in Somali votes on your side, bud. Everyone else with any sense wouldn't vote for you, but you have them on your side. And that's it. But as I reflected on this moment with my family and my team over the holidays, I came to the conclusion that I can't give a political campaign my all. Every minute I spend defending my own political interest would be a minute I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who prey on our differences. Dude, you are literally allowing the criminals to prey on your generosity. You want them to so you can buy their votes. Like, I don't know what game you're trying to play here. We all have seen it. Firsthand, we've all seen it. We've seen the money that's gone to them. It's ridiculous amounts of money. Because you're buying their votes. Crazy. So I've decided to step out of the race and let others worry about the election while I focus on the work. That's the first smart sentence I've read out of this entire thing right there. Boom. Yeah, get out. See you later. I know this news may come as a surprise, but I'm passing on the race with zero sadness and zero regret. After all, I didn't run for this job so I could have this job. I ran for this job so I could do this job. Ugh, yeah. Stupid. Minnesota faces enormous challenges here, and I refuse to spend even 1 minute of 2026 doing anything other than rising to meet the moment. Minnesota has to come first, always. That's what I believe servant leadership demands of me. And as an optimist, I will hold out some hope that my friends on the other side of the aisle will consider what servant leadership demands of them in this moment. Yeah, it doesn't demand buying off the Somalis and stealing money from your own people. I can tell you that. It doesn't do that, which is what you've done. We can work together to combat the criminals, rebuild the public's trust, and make our state stronger. But make no mistake, if Republicans continue down this path of abusing power, smearing entire communities, and running their own fraudulent game at the expense of Minnesotans, we will fight back every step of the way. What fight do you have? You're allowing them to do this illegal stuff. They're doing the illegal stuff. You're allowing it. So, of course, we're going to call them out. See, they always try to paint this picture like calling out these communities. Well, yeah, is the community doing something wrong? Oh, they are committing fraud, cheating, stealing, lying? Then, yeah, they should be called out, bud. Like, what do you want? What does that even mean? I'm confident that a DFLer will hold this seat come November. I'm confident that I will find ways to contribute to the state I love even after I've left office next January. But there will be time to worry about all that later. Today, I'm proud of the work we've done to make Minnesota America's best place to live and raise kids. Lie. That's an absolute lie. From our new paid leave policy to our child tax credit to our free lunch program and to the Somali community that's been bought off and paid for and funded by the Minnesotan people for the Somali community. Yeah. By the Americans for the Somalians. Bingo. That's all you should have said. And I'm doubly proud of the incredible team we've put together to make that vision a reality. Thank you for every member of my staff and every state employee who's part of this fight. We need you on the job to tackle the important work ahead. Most of all, I want Minnesotans to know that I'm on the job 24/7, focused on making sure we stay America's best place to live and raise kids. No one will take that away from us. Bud, you already took it away when you stole all the money and gave it to the Somalians and allowed them to commit the fraud. Not the fraudsters, not the president, not on my watch. But you're resigning, so it's not even going to be on your watch. Like, what are you talking about? They always say these things that sound good, but they're like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, it literally doesn't make sense. It's a bunch of BS. That's all it is. Oh, I'm so glad I could allow these people to steal from the hardworking Minnesotans, and these people can commit fraud on my watch. That's all you had to say right there. We already know it. We've seen it. Don't lie. So ridiculous. And then this is the last one here. Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota announced on Monday that he's dropping his bid for a third term as governor amid stinging criticism of the unsuccessful 2024 Democratic vice presidential nominee's handling of his state's massive welfare assistance fraud scandal. Huh, you don't say. The political gamesmanship, yeah, he already called that out. What a bunch of BS that is. But I reflected on this moment with my family and my team, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, good. I'm glad you're not running again. What an absolute skunk. You want to see what a skunk looks like? It's that right there. Skunk, scumbag, and a sellout of the American people and the Minnesota people, the people you're supposed to care about the most. Sellout, dude. Can't stand people like that, bro. That makes me so mad. But anyway, if you like what you're watching, go ahead and give a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out to grow this channel. Keep trying to find the truth and bring it to you guys. That's my main goal with this, and give my opinions on what I see and how I see it. And yeah, I'll be back in the near future with another one. Peace.